Imagine you're on the brink of completing a project that you've poured your heart and soul into. You've met all the client's requirements, and you're just about to cross the finish line. But suddenly, out of nowhere, a dispute arises. It's a scenario no freelancer or client ever wants to face, but it's also a reality of the freelance world. Hi everyone, my name is Mehran, and I'm a top-rated and expert-vetted freelancer on Upwork. I've successfully completed over 200 projects on the Upwork platform in the course of the past 5 years. Today, we'll walk through each step of Upwork's dispute resolution process, from initiation all the way to arbitration. And I'll share a personal story about my recent challenging dispute, which I won, and the valuable lessons learned in the process. So whether you're here to proactively arm yourself with knowledge or find guidance for an ongoing issue, this presentation aims to enlighten and equip you for smoother sailings on Upwork. So make sure to watch this video all until the end. Either the client or the freelancer can initiate a dispute on Upwork. Disputes are usually about the quality of work, delivery of work, or payment issues. Upwork encourages both parties, that is the freelancer and the client, to communicate directly and attempt to resolve the dispute amicably. If an agreement is reached between the freelancer and the client, the terms of that agreement are executed accordingly. If the dispute is not resolved through direct communication, either party, that is, either the freelancer or the client, can involve Upwork's dispute assistance. Upwork acts as a mediator and tries to help both parties reach a fair agreement. Mediation provided by Upwork usually involves reviewing the contract terms, work submissions, and the communication history between the client and the freelancer. After doing a thorough investigation, the Upwork dispute team proposes what they believe to be a fair, non-binding resolution. If both parties accept the non-binding resolution, or if both parties agree at an alternative resolution, then action will be taken accordingly. But if there is no agreement between the client and the freelancer, then there will be what is known as a non-resolution. Dispute resolution options offered by Upwork are as follows. First, there's refund or payment. The freelancer may be asked to refund some amount, or the client might be asked to pay for the completed work. Alternatively, there might also be a partial agreement, where parties might agree to a partial payment or refund. If there is a mutual agreement, then the terms of that agreement are executed accordingly. But if there's no mutual agreement, then there will be a non-resolution. If mediation fails, the case could go to arbitration. Arbitration is conducted by a third-party arbitrator named Brief. Both parties must pay an arbitration fee, with 4 possible outcomes. The first possible outcome: if neither party pays the arbitration fee within 7 days, Upwork will close the case and refund the claimed amount to the client. The second option: if the client alone pays within 7 days, they get refunded and the case closes. The third option: if only the freelancer pays within 7 days, the freelancer keeps the amount claimed by the client, receives reimbursement for the arbitration fee, and Upwork sends any amounts in escrow to the freelancer and closes the dispute and contract, denying the client's refund claim. And last but not least, the fourth option is if both parties, that is both the freelancer and the client, pay the arbitration fee within 7 days. In that scenario, the case will proceed to arbitration through the established arbitration process. The decision of the arbitrator is binding and final. And in a nutshell, that's how Upwork's dispute and arbitration process works. If you'd like to learn more, supporting materials and links from Upwork are available in the description box of this video. Now let's move on to the fun part, that is my Upwork dispute story. But before I share that story with you, if you find the information useful, please show some love by hitting that like button and subscribing. It's a simple click for you, but it's a huge boost for the channel. And to show my gratitude, I'll personally respond to every comment on this video. So here's my dispute story, and it's worth noting that this incident marks my first and only dispute on the Upwork platform so far. I've been a dedicated freelancer on Upwork for over 5 years, completing over 200 projects with consistent success, and I have dozens and dozens of 5-star reviews. Let me share the story. I was engaged in a fixed price contract which was progressing smoothly. The client had already approved 2 milestones, and we were nearing the contract's conclusion. Unexpectedly, the client terminated the contract. He explained that he was simultaneously working with another freelancer, and he chose to proceed with the other freelancer's approach instead of mine. So essentially, this unscrupulous client had hired two freelancers for the same job to see which of the two outcomes he likes better. So that's what the client admitted to doing, but it could also be that he just found a cheaper resource. So this guy just piggybacked off of me for a while, and after a period of collaboration and leveraging my insights, skills, and knowledge, he chose to go with a solution from another freelancer who he was working with simultaneously. This abrupt end to our contract was disturbing, but what followed was even more concerning. The client then arrogantly demanded a refund for all the milestones which he had previously approved himself. It's understood that clients have the right to end contracts, but demanding a refund for milestones that were previously approved was just arrogant, impulsive, and also unexpected, given the prior acknowledgement of satisfaction. Reminder that this was a fixed price contract, not an hourly contract, and the client was demanding a refund for milestones which he had manually approved himself. So essentially, this client thought that just because he decided not to work with me anymore, all previously paid amounts must be returned to him, which is an outrageous and very unusual expectation. I was deeply troubled by the client's behavior, which was unethical on multiple levels. The client had engaged in what's known as speculative hiring, a very unethical practice where he employed two or perhaps even more than two freelancers for the same job, intending to pay only the one whose work he preferred. This not only undermines professional integrity, but it also exploits the efforts of skilled individuals. I would have never agreed to work with this client if I knew about his engagement in such unethical practices. Now, engaging in other freelancers would have been understandable if the client had done so following the conclusion of his engagement with me. However, the fact that the client chose to work with two freelancers simultaneously is not only unprofessional, but also ethically questionable. Such practices are not only unacceptable, but they also undermine the basic principles of fair, ethical business conduct. The approval of a milestone is a formal sign-off that the requirements of that milestone have been satisfied. Despite this, the client, exhibiting both arrogant and unethical behavior, was arrogantly demanding a refund for milestones which he had previously approved himself. I firmly refused his unreasonable request, as I had completed the work as agreed. When the case was escalated to the Upwork dispute team, I detailed the entire scenario and I highlighted the client's unethical practice of speculative hiring. I underscored the point that the client was seeking refunds for milestones which he had approved himself. Now, this client was constantly using fallacious appeals to authority to try to bully me into submission, but I didn't bow down to his arrogant demands. The Upwork dispute team then conducted a thorough investigation of the case, reviewing the surrounding facts, including work submissions, communications, and other details. And guess what? They supported my stance, affirming that I was entitled to retain the payments already made for completed milestones. Now, there was a small sum of money in escrow. It was less than $100, which was designated for a future milestone. For that amount, they proposed a fair compromise. That is, splitting the amount equally between the client and myself. So in summary, Upwork's non-binding resolution was as follows. The payments for past milestones should remain with me, the freelancer, and the escrow amount for the active milestone should be divided equally between both parties. I found this resolution reasonable and I accepted the non-binding resolution. And while I agreed to this resolution, the client did not, and he still arrogantly wanted a full refund. Since the client rejected the non-binding resolution, the dispute resulted in a non-resolution. The subsequent step was formal arbitration, and it was managed by a third-party legal team named the Brief. Participation in arbitration required both parties, that is the freelancer and the client, to pay an arbitration fee, which at the time of my dispute was $337.50. We were given 7 days to make this payment, with the following possible outcomes. If neither party pays the arbitration fee within 7 days, Upwork will close the case and refund the claimed amount to the client. If only the client pays the amount within 7 days, the client gets a full refund and the case is closed. If only the freelancer pays within 7 days, the freelancer gets to keep the amounts claimed by the client. Upwork also sends the escrow amount to the freelancer and closes the dispute and the contract, denying the client's refund claim. And finally, if both parties pay the fee within 7 days, the case will proceed to formal arbitration. Now, I chose to pay my share of the arbitration fee, but the client did not. Consequently, the full escrow amount was released to me, and this client's unreasonable demands were dismissed. And I won the case fair and square. I can understand why this client didn't choose to go to arbitration, and that's because he knew he would have lost, considering the baseless nature of his claims. And there's no doubt in my mind that similar to the non-binding resolution, any binding resolution would have also been in my favor had we gone to formal arbitration via brief. And here's the exact screenshot of the last message that was sent out related to this dispute. Now, I've blurred out the client's name and the contract number due to confidentiality reasons, so the message was addressed to myself and the client for this dispute, and it goes as follows. We are reaching out to provide a final update as the client, for the contract number is blurred out, did not elect to proceed to arbitration. The funds in escrow have been released to the freelancer. The dispute is now closed. As a reminder, once a dispute has been closed, it cannot be reopened, and no further mediation attempts will be available on the contract. This is the exact message from the Upwork dispute team immediately after the case was closed, and I won the dispute. So now that I shared my dispute story with you, here are some valuable tips and strategies for freelancers on managing and resolving disputes effectively. First, try to understand Upwork's dispute and arbitration policies. It's crucial for both freelancers and clients on Upwork to have a thorough understanding of the platform's terms of service, especially regarding dispute resolution and arbitration policies. This knowledge equips you to navigate any disagreements or issues that may arise during a project. By familiarizing yourself with these policies, you can ensure that your rights are protected and you're prepared to handle disputes according to Upwork's guidelines. This preparation can make the difference between a quick resolution and a lengthy one. Second, trust your gut instinct. In the freelance world, intuition plays a significant role in guiding your decisions. If a project or client feels off, or if something about the situation doesn't sit right with you, it's important to listen to that inner voice. While not every concern might lead to a significant issue, trusting your gut can help you avoid problematic clients or projects that are not a good fit. It's often better to err on the side of caution than to ignore your instincts and face potential issues down the line. And third, use logic and reason to assess the situation. When faced with disputes or challenging client behavior, it's vital to approach the situation with logic and reason. This means objectively assessing the facts and trying to remove emotion from the equation and determining the best course of action based on rational thoughts. In my experience, for example, I encountered a situation where the client was constantly appealing to authority in their arguments, which is a logical fallacy. This means they were using their position or authority as the sole basis for their argument, rather than presenting valid, evidence-based reasoning. Despite the pressure, I chose not to acquiesce to the client's unfounded demands. Instead, I relied on Upwork's dispute resolution policies, along with clear communication and factual evidence of my work and agreements to address the situation. This approach allowed me to maintain my professional integrity and also ensure that the resolution was fair and based on the merits of the case, rather than succumbing to an imbalanced power dynamic. In summary, navigating disputes on platforms like Upwork requires a blend of understanding the platform's policies, trusting your instincts, and employing logic and reason. By adopting these strategies, freelancers can protect their interests, maintain professional relationships, and ensure fair outcomes in challenging situations. I trust you found the insights shared in this video valuable. If you appreciated the content, I would be grateful if you could show your support with a thumbs up. For those of you new to my channel, welcome. Please consider subscribing and activating notifications. This way, you'll always be updated with latest videos and won't miss out on the exciting content. I also have some very exciting news. I'm now offering exclusive one-on-one appointments through TopMate. This is your chance to have a personalized session with me, where we can deep dive into topics related to freelancing, career planning, data analytics, business intelligence, and other topics which are currently displayed on the screen. So whether you're looking for advice, or you want to discuss a specific subject, or just want to have a chat, I'm here for it. Whether it's mastering a new skill, deep diving into a specific topic, or unlocking your full potential, together we can tackle your biggest challenges and map out a path to success. Booking is super easy. Just head over to TopMate by clicking on the link in the description box, find my profile, and choose a time that works best for you. We can connect, talk about your goals, and work together to achieve them. Don't miss out on this unique opportunity to get personalized attention and advice tailored just for you. I'm really looking forward to meeting you and helping you on your journey. Spots are limited, so make sure to book your appointment soon, and let's make some magic happen together.